Hey everyone, and welcome back to one of our sessions. And it's all about how to cope without therapy. In this video, we'll go back to the books and we'll just browse through a little bit of philosophy. A little bit of philosophy intertwined with a little bit of psychology. And we're just gonna start with Arthur Schopenhauer. Yep. And how some of his ideas influence Freud's concepts. And when we talk, well, you probably heard about the forces of the unconscious and the needs and the repression and the denial and the sublimation, but we're just going to talk about that real quick. Move from Schopenhauer to none other than Carl Jung, also linked very much to Freud, and a bit about his determinism and what Carl Jung thought about personality and something like causality and synchronicity and dreams. And I will close this little book and session, and I will just read you something that popped up on my feed that actually made me pull this book out. This is Hegenan's An Introduction to the History of Psychology. It's quite mind-bending, and it takes a reader through a bit of history and how things and concepts and lovely clever people actually went through and came up. Maybe think of it as an expanded timeline of significant individuals. So in about 600 pages, trust me, it's actually quite concise. So let's start. Let's start with Arthur Schopenhauer, the German philosopher that was born in Danzig, that is now Poland, a town called Gdansk. And we're not going to talk much about him, his life, and anything else, but I just want to pinpoint from the book just a couple of ideas. He's one of the most influential philosopher, if you'd like. Quite a lot of other names. They sort of got inspiration from Schopenhauer's work, including Martin Heidegger, and as I was saying earlier, Freud and Jung and so on. Beside the point, what I want to tell you about Schopenhauer and his view on humanity, their will to survive. He actually even quoted in one of his books, the Bible, talking about how intelligent beings suffer the most. The part that I want to focus on perhaps today and start with is that I'll read you this little passage here. Schopenhauer anticipated Freud's concept of sublimation when he said that some relief or escape from the irrational forces within us can be attained by immersing ourselves in activities that are not need-related and therefore cannot be frustrated or satiated. Activities such as poetry, theater, art, or music. Platonic philosophy or unselfish, non-sexual, sympathetic love. And when it comes to sublimation itself, the gist of it is that we venture into all of this creativity purely with an intent to cling to life because it's pleasant, but in the same time deny death or the end of life. Moving on at the other end, like I said, we're going to move to Carl Jung, that had an amazing contribution to psychology, and we're now going to talk about his archetypes, introversion, extroversion, all of those lovely things. There is something here about causality, synchronicity, and dreams. And it goes like this. Like Freud, Jung was a determinist. Both believed that important causes of a person's personality are found in his or her past experiences. However, Jung believed that to truly understand a person, one must understand the person's prior experiences, including those registered in the collective unconscious, and the person's goal for the future. Thus, unlike Freud's theory, Jung's embraced a purpose kind of science. For Jung, people are both pushed by the past and pulled by the future. For Jung, another important determinant of personality is none other than synchronicity, or meaningful coincidence. Synchronicity occurs when two or more events, each with their own independent causality, come together in a meaningful way. Now, it goes on, the book, with examples and criticism and contributions and so on, but I wanted you to keep in mind this synchronicity bit as a meaningful coincidence. It's when two or more events, each with their own independent causality, come together in a meaningful way. We're not even going to talk about dreams, but just remember this: we started with Schopenhauer, we even dived a bit in existentialism, and everyone's clinging to life in their own way, perhaps the best way they can, be it by meeting their needs or sublimation or denial type of behaviors. And then we moved into Jung's determinism and his idea that to truly understand the personality, you need to understand their past experiences just as much as their future goals. And sometimes in this flow, in this river, in this existence and the intertwining, we have synchronicity. Keeping all of these lovely things in mind, here is what I want to read you, because to me it was beautiful. Beautiful in a way that I actually read it a few times, and it's a feed on my Facebook page. Check it out, you've got nothing to lose. And it's from a publisher called Midwives of the Soul. Their page is Midwives of the Soul. It was yesterday published, and it has to do with Schopenhauer. So don't you think that I told you all of that lovely stuff just so to keep you in the fog? Nope. Here it comes, now that you know about Schopenhauer and Jung and personality and synchronicity. You ready? Listen up. In his splendid essay hold on an apparent intention in the fate of the individual. Schopenhauer points out that when you reach an advanced age and look back over your lifetime, it can seem to have had a consistent order and plan, as though composed by some novelist. Events that when they occurred had seemed accidental and of little moment turn out to have been indispensable factors in the composition of a consistent plot. So, who composed that plot? Schopenhauer suggests that just as your dreams are composed by an aspect of yourself of which your consciousness is unaware, so too your whole life is composed by the will within you. And just as people whom you will have met apparently by mere chance became leading agents in the structuring of your life, so too will you have served unknowingly as an agent giving meaning to the life of others. The whole thing gears together like one big symphony, with everything unconsciously structuring everything else. And Schopenhauer concludes that it is as though our lives were the features of a one great dream, of a single dreamer in which all the dream characters dream too, so that everything links to everything else, moved by the one will to life, which is the universal will in nature. And this was from Joseph Campbell, The Power of Myth, and his lovely essay. And again, check it out. The page name is Midwives of the Soul, published yesterday. Or check out the essay, The Power of Myth. If you have the power and the will, check out the book, An Introduction to the History of Psychology, none other than 600 pages of Hegenans. Or don't check it out, it's a long read, trust me. My point is, sometimes, just sometimes, you can look upon your life like a whole set, or like a whole collection of chapters in a novel that maybe, just maybe, even though they were graceful failures at times, or just arbitrary happiness, for some reason, that synchronicity creeps in. And not only that, your past experience shapes you, us, the goals, and the future do as well, the purpose, but also it's not a standalone, it never is. We influence others, we are part of others' dreams as well. And I think that is beautiful. I'm Gabriela, and thank you for your time, and see you soon.